Today's video will be showing you how to install a RaceChip on the 3.3 liter turbo V6 in the Kia and Hondas. Before installing the RaceChip, please wait until your engine is cool enough to work on. Put your parking brake or emergency brake on. If your vehicle is equipped with an alarm system, please disable it. Pop the hood, roll up the windows, close the doors, and press the lock button on your key fob and move that key fob 30 feet away. You're gonna wait about 10 minutes after for all the electricity to clear from underneath the hood. To begin the installation, we're first gonna remove the plastic engine cover. There'll be a couple grommets in the front and a couple grommets in the back. Just lift straight up and gently pull away. Now, before we install the RaceChip, we actually suggest replacing the stock spark plugs on the 3.3 with either the HKS M45ILs or something equivalent. We found that the stock spark plugs just are inefficient and can't really handle the increase in power. On the 3.3, we're going to be connecting the A connection to the turbo boost pressure sensor. The B connection will go to the manifold pressure sensor. And if you have it, C will go to the camshaft position sensor back here. Now we'll begin with the A connection going to the turbo boost pressure sensor. So first we're going to remove the actual male connection of the OEM sensor by pressing down on the tab. We're going to take that male connection and plug it into the female end of the RaceChip. You'll notice there's two pegs. One will have a 45-degree angle cut, one will be a solid peg. That snap will go onto the 45-degree cut peg, and make sure you press on until it snaps. And we'll take the male end of the RaceChip harness and plug it into the OEM sensor and putting it on there until it snaps. Next up, we'll be doing the B connection to the manifold pressure sensor. Same as the A connection, we're going to press down on the tab and pull back. And take the female end of the RaceChip wiring harness with the 45-degree angle cut, and that's going to lock on there. And then we'll take the male end of the RaceChip harness, push it on there until it locks. Next up will be the C connection if you have it. If not, you'll just be connecting to the A and B and you can move on to the next step. However, if you have the C connection, just like A and B, we're going to press down the locking tab on the back here until we remove it. Take the female end of the RaceChip harness and put it on there until it locks in place. Next up is route and zip tie the wiring harness into place. I want to make sure that we're keeping the wiring harness away from any hot or moving parts, and if we're going to be zip tying onto any electrical lines or fluid lines, that we're not zip tying too tight to pinch anything inside. With the wiring harness securely zip tied in place and routed, next up is to install the RaceChip. So to do so, we're going to use the 4 included pins to actually put in there. You're going to use the 2 longer supplied zip ties to mount the RaceChip in either direction. The really nice thing about these pins is if you ever do need to remove the RaceChip for any service or warranty work, you can actually press down on these 4 tabs and the pins will slide out and leave the zip ties in place, and that way you can just remove the RaceChip. Now before we install the RaceChip, we're going to remove the deactivation plug. Do not throw this away. Hang on to this. Throw this in your glove box or maybe your center console. If you ever need to remove the RaceChip, you can put the deactivation plug in place. We'll revert the car back to stock and you don't have to remove the wiring harness. So with the deactivation plug removed, we'll then insert the RaceChip. It's very important that if you have the GTS, no LED light turns on, or if you have the S or RS, no green LED light turns on. The first time we install the unit, we want absolutely no power. Same as the wiring harness, when you're zipping the zip ties, make sure to not do it too tight to pinch off any electrical lines or wires. Last but not least on the installation is to cut the excess ends off the zip ties to make everything look factory again. Last but certainly not least is to put the plastic engine cover back in place. Same as the way we took it off, just going to push down on the 4 rubber grommets until it snaps in place. Start in the default setting of the RaceChip for the first time you test drive the car. If everything works great, you can then move the RaceChip to the next level up. Be aware that the car needs some time to adapt before releasing the full performance upgrade. Now, get out, drive, and enjoy your RaceChip.